Good morning to all of you, and thank you for attending this seminar entitled Boosting Tourism in Rural Areas through Collaboration between European University students. Firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is Ana Maria Fernandez, and I am a professor of business communication here at the University of Navarra. Today, Professor Ruth Brice had other commitments and asked me to present this seminar and our speaker, Professor Rafael Robina. Rafael Robina earned his PhD in sociology and business in 2002, and he is an associate professor at the University of Extremadura in Spain, in the Department of Business Management and Sociology. Throughout his career, he has written more than 50 international papers and 10 books on business and environment, ethics, and sustainable human and educational development in companies, mainly in the tourism sector. Also, he is currently the coordinator of the research group DELSOS with different European projects about sustainable territorial development. He is also leading several European, national, and regional projects on behavioral change in the areas of tourism and business ethics. Since 2014, he also continues to lead an innovation and teaching project. The main objective of the project is to teach business ethics through transversal methodologies based on empirical cases. Before starting, let me kindly remind you that if you have any questions or suggestions, as in the past seminars, you can use the chat or Facebook, it depends on where you are, and we will go over the questions after the presentation. And now, Rafael, welcome to this seminar, and thank you for being here and accepting our invitation. Whenever you are ready, the floor is yours.
So thank you very much, Anna, for having me here, giving me the opportunity to introduce, I think, innovative idea in order to spread, in order to promote, in order to develop touristic territories, mainly in different countries like Portugal, Spain, and Italy. What I'm going to talk is about how students at the university can be a tool, if I can express myself in this regard, a tool of spreading touristic landmarks. In the last 5 years, I've been collaborating with the international agency at the university, Erasmus students, that in the last 5 years, they have come from everywhere, mainly from Portugal, Italy, France, Germany, sometimes from Ireland, but most of them from Italy and Portugal. So, of course, Erasmus students, apart from learning and studying different subjects here, they have been visiting some touristic landmarks in Extremadura. As you can see in this slide, you can see just up left in this slide the amphitheater, the Roman amphitheater, and that is used nowadays mainly in summer. Around 2,000 people can enjoy different activities in this Roman amphitheater. And you can see just in this this slide that the column are the original columns, and they portray different different cultural events. And then you can see just in the middle of this slide, the square, the main square in Trujillo. Trujillo, as you know, is one of the landmarks that conquerors in the 15th, 16th, 17th centuries, they moved from Spain to South America. And just in the lower slide, the lower picture is Guadalupe, which is the Our Lady of Guadalupe, which is this specific monastery has some relationship with the Guadalupe in Mexico, the famous pilgrim in Mexico. So this is Extremadura. Okay, we have different regions, and Erasmus students, we always offer opportunities to our students to visit different places. So based on these 5 years, last 5 years, visiting these touristic landmarks, we start contacting the university in Salerno, University degli Studi di Salerno, Universidad del Interior, and also we start talking to the cluster de turismo, cluster of tourism in Extremadura. To do what? To do what? Okay, we wanted to teach Erasmus students in different programs based on the Erasmus programs that they are currently managing. They are currently doing every single year. We had an idea in order to submit this idea in this Erasmus Plus project, European project, and we did last year. Okay, so based on students that they come from different countries, what we did was, okay, maybe all those students that normally they come around 100, 112, 120 every single year, maybe based on this tutor buddy program, maybe we can find Spanish students who are willing to combine their studies with Erasmus students in order to teach them some skills. At the beginning, when we were talking to these students, we were thinking of different skills. For instance, linguistic skills, of course, because Erasmus students from France, Germany, Portugal, Italy, they come here in order to learn Spanish. But not only linguistic skills, but also communication skills, based on introducing themselves or introducing them to this to the media, local media, for instance, TV, radio, newspapers. So what we did was, okay, based on our contacts with some media, like director of TV channel, radio channel, and also the director of newspaper, maybe we can keep them, we can bring them to these media activities in order to teach them how to write a paper, how to explain any tourism knowledge, in order to bring the Italian landmark here and then to promote Italy in Spain, and also to promote Portugal in Spain, and vice versa, doing exactly the opposite. So what we were thinking of developing these connections between different territories, mainly in Portugal and in Italy, in order to in order to give the opportunity to those students to promote their local and local territories and touristic landmarks. So, for instance, it's very interesting because we were not only talking to the Erasmus students, but also we select a group of 20-25 Spanish students in order to learn a little bit more about Guadalupe. Okay, because I mean, Guadalupe is one of the is the patron, it's Our Lady de Guadalupe, the patronage of our region. So we were preparing some information to Spanish students who are going to travel to another countries next year, because this is the only way to talk about our touristic spots in different countries. And then also we organize some green activities in order to develop this sustainable awareness between not only Erasmus students but also with Spanish students. Remember that all these students are participating in the same buddy program, which means that they are always in the morning together doing different activities: green activities, communication activities, linguistic activities, technological activities that I'm going to explain just at the end of the presentation. But also, based on these green activities, we have been organizing these different activities in different events in, for instance, Jerte Valley. Jerte Valley is very well known in the north of Extremadura, not only for the trees, but also for the green areas in which you can find different trees that they produce, as you can see here, a lot of cherries that we export to Europe and to all over the world. So we organize green activity with Erasmus students, with the Spanish students, in order to be together in these places. Also, this project is based on teaching them technological and communication skills. Okay, as I told you before, several different radios here, they accept our students and they teach them directly in order to provide some skills to write a paper about their own touristic landmarks. You can see some activities that we did last year with students, not only at the university, but also not only at the university studios, but also in professional radio studios. Okay, and this is another activities that we did with Italian and Portuguese students, preparing speech in radio, but also in TV studios. Okay, so then what is the meaning of ambassador? Because it's the name of the project. What ambassador project means? Okay, so ambassador project belong to the European education area and the EU Youth Strategy 2019-2027. Okay, and then we were looking for not only teaching touristic skill, not only linguistic skill, not only technological skill, but also inclusive skills, because sometimes you find students that Erasmus students, that they are blind, they have some physical or mental or intellectual disabled, and then we need to be really alert. We need to be very careful in order to to incorporate all these students in this program. Okay. So then at the beginning of the project, we started making priorities. Okay, and then we defined seven different priorities that they are the path that we have to follow in all the projects. Okay, so all these priorities are based on participation, based on inclusive education and professional experience, teaching skills. Really, really interesting. We are not teaching theoretical issues. We are teaching practical issues. How to write, how to speak, how to perform in different audience. Okay, how to summarize briefly something about your 2, 3, 4 tourism landmarks, and to be able to answer different questions. Okay, then we define, we're moving from priorities to motivation. Okay? What kind of motivation this ambassador project providing to all our Erasmus students and also Spanish students. Okay, both of them. Okay, so we explain clearly that our main motivation was to develop touristic territories in 3 different countries through the participation of students from 3 different areas with different landmarks, whether they are related with nature, whether related with history, or whether related with art, or related with beaches, or whatever. But at the end of the day, the project align all these different landmarks in the same objective and motivation, which was to provide skills and provide also capacities to our students to be able to do a very efficient participation here in this in Spain, as well as in Italy and Portugal. Okay, so then we move from motivation to objectives, and we found 6 objectives. Okay, not only we are improving the mobility through different activities between European university, between 2 or among European universities, but also we try to provide a challenge for the student. We want to give a purpose to the student, and the purpose is not only to study here, it's not only to learn the language of the foreign country. The purpose is to be able to talk about your own landmarks, to be able to spread the message, the tourism message, to other people in foreign countries. Okay, and also the third main objective is to give them the opportunity to be introduced to many different students, but also professionals, whether they come from radio, whether they come from TV, whether they come from newspapers. And then, what kind of results are we looking for? Okay, so first of all, the main result that we are looking for is interaction. Sometimes, I remember 4 years ago when I started collaborating with this international agency here. I remember very well. I have vivid memories of different students that they come to my office and they say, "Sorry, I feel myself really alone, because it's true that we have a monthly meeting with all the Erasmus students, But I remember very well those students. There were 4 or 5 students from France that they couldn't find friends. They couldn't interact with other students. So at the end of the day, they couldn't reach the purpose and the result of the Erasmus program, which is to interact with different students, to learn from different students. So this program makes very easy for students to interact with another student. First of all, because just from the beginning, every single foreign student are introduced to Spanish student, and they will be for 6 months together doing different activities that has been already prepared in the program with a schedule, and they have to fulfill this schedule and a program really clear for every single Erasmus student. Okay, and also they have to follow some theoretical lessons or sessions, because they are trained about how to talk, they are trained how to write, they are trained how to use the newspaper, how to use the laptop in order to write to different newspapers. Okay, and then the novelty was another point that we were designing in this ambassador project. Okay, and then we found 2 different aspects based on the novelty. First of all, we want not only to provide the skills, but also to be able to write some papers, okay, articles based on the results, based on the questionnaires, teaching them how to write different methodologies, following different methodologies, how to write some professional or academic articles in order to develop touristic territories through the participation of Erasmus students. Okay, so this is the first novelty, and then the second novelty is teaching them methodologies to provide feedback according to different inclusive indicators. Okay, for instance, how are you aware of students that are really shy and they don't want to talk because they can't talk because they are shy? So or how do you give your hands to another one who is not able to talk to another language because they don't have linguistic skills? How do you are aware of this? And how are you helping all these students who have some problems through communication, through learning, or whatever? So we have been working also in this point. And then synergies, we developed some network, not only based on professional issues, but also based on career opportunities, because remember that we are putting in contact students with professionals, but also with touristic companies. So at the end of the day, they are able to keep in touch with directors of media communication companies, but also directors of touristic companies. Okay, and also, as I told you before, we developed some synergies based on emotional, attitudinal, inclusiveness, openness, availability, which is really interesting for students that they have not learned how to develop all these synergies. Okay, and the target group, we target, we address ourselves to young people, of course, Erasmus students, but not all of them are young. I remember 3 years ago, some of the students, they were mature people, I mean, in their 40s, that they were studying a second degree, and then they came here in the 40s, and they were involved in different activities. Of course, they had more I mean, more knowledge, more skills. We decided that they should have the I mean, the leader of the group. Okay, so this is basically the presentation, and then what we are trying to do next year, we're writing all these proposals based on all the knowledge that we've got, in order to include not only Portuguese and Italian university, but also a university in Poland, in Warsaw, because we wanted to increase this kind of collaboration between universities, because I think that this program, ambassador program, is going to provide skills and purpose to Erasmus students in order to develop these touristic territories through students, through young students. And at the end of the day, this is another way of giving opportunities to students to learn how to be very proud of talking about their own touristic landmarks in foreign countries. Thank you very much, and I'm really open to answer every question. If you have any question, I will be really willing to answer the question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rafael, for sharing such an interesting and inspiring project. Yeah, and let me know if there is some questions. Nobody. I was wondering, which were the most difficult problems that you have to deal with when you started the project?
I mean, the main problem that we face in this program is basically when students have to go to this professional or put in contact with radio, and TV mainly, because they are not used to talk to the audience. I mean, especially in TV, they have to learn just at the beginning some skills in order to be able to talk about some topic, which is touristic topic, for 15 minutes, 10 minutes. And it's really hard to train this training process, because they don't know exactly how to talk about, Guadalupe, or how to talk about Jerte Valley, because they have to summarize in 10 minutes a lot of information, and also they have to be very, very accurate, okay, about what they are talking, because they are not reading anything. They have to learn by heart everything, and then they have to connect also with the audience. Okay, so the feeling of the students at the beginning is not very good the first time, but the more they practice, the easier way, and then the more they learn, the happier they are. At the end of the day, we are really conscious that we are providing these skills that they don't have. Not all of them, of course. You can find very extrovert students that they are doing very well, and they don't need to be trained a lot. But mostly, on average, you have to teach them in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sessions previously before going to the TV studio, and because they feel nervous. I mean, first of all, they feel nervous, but also sometimes they don't know exactly how to start, you know, and also they don't know exactly how to answer the question of the TV presenter.
Thank you, Rafael. Another question, because finally Professor Ruth Brice is here, and he said she finds your project fascinating, and she has, her question is, could you explain a bit more about the training and support that you give the students?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and I can give you some examples if you want. So just at the beginning of the project, because we are based on different skills, we spread the program in different faculties. I mean, we've got experts, professional academics in this regard, academic from the communication faculty, but also we've got academics from the tourism faculty, but also we've got academics from the linguistic faculty. So the collaboration from different faculties is crucial. Okay, it's crucial. So this is the first point, and then the second point is how many sessions they need in order to be successful in this relationship with the media. So we normally make some interviews to the students just at the beginning in order to organize themselves in 3 different groups: low level, intermediate level, high level. Okay, based on the skills and the capabilities, the capacities that I have to talk, to learn, and to write. Okay, so based on this selection, we organize 3 different groups. And then, I mean, the higher level, you need only 2-3 sessions. The intermediate level, just the double, 6-7. And the lower level, because they don't know, they don't understand the language, because they don't know how to write, they don't know how to speak, then they have another 10-12 sessions. Okay. I remember very well 2 years ago that 2 ladies, 2 girls, 2 women, they were very, very shy. They couldn't speak. They couldn't speak. I mean, they felt like someone who were threatening them. And then we had around 18-19 sessions in my office. And then I give them different topics, touristic topics, and then they record themselves. And then after around 19-20 sessions, they were able to go to the radio, first of all, and then afterwards to the TV in order to talk about this Portuguese, because both of them they were from Portugal, Portuguese touristic landmarks. So at the end of the day, it's very it's challenging. I know very well that it's challenging for them, especially, but it's really, really rewarding, because the Erasmus students, they are the one who learn, and they are really happy to see that they have been overcoming all these psychological problems based on this speaking, writing, and also learning.
Thank you, Rafael. I don't know, I can see Ruth Brice, Professora. I don't know if you...
Yeah, sorry, at the beginning, I knew I had a problem with the connection. That was the thing. So I managed to join you just about in the second part. So the second slide, I was here, right? I find your presentation and your project really fascinating and really interesting, because I think it's something we could actually roll out to a larger group, maybe, of students. Okay, but it put a lot of effort into it yourself, so I suppose you have to streamline it and and organize it in skills or sub-projects, so that you know each year that you're going to do some sessions on speaking in public, some sessions on branding, marketing, whatever. Yeah. You also mentioned that the students did research. And I wasn't quite sure what kind of research that is, or how that fits into this, because we're also launching some projects which are related to tourism, and I would be very interested to know how you did that, what kind of research students did, especially if they don't have, for example, a very good command of Spanish.
Yes. I mean, the research, you need to organize everything in the research, because normally a student, they don't have the skills to write. They don't know exactly to write in academic level. So what you have to do is you have to organize a group, okay? And then first of all, you need to explain very well the topic that you are going to write. And then, for instance, I remember it was 3 months ago, we started writing about how emotions has been developed by doing these activities in these students. I mean, when I say emotions, I mean fear, for instance, one of them, fear, gratitude, compassion. All this emotion has been developed, this emotion, through this project. I mean, fear, it's very easy to write about fear, especially when they are really scared of talking to the audience. And then we organized, we wrote some questions in order to analyze, following a scale from 1 to 7, from 1 to 5, what kind of fear they had just at the beginning of the project, before the training, during the training, after the training, and during the sessions, in order to know if the training has been really efficient for them or not. And also, not only we've got data through questioning, but also interviews. We find some. We found some questions, open questions, in order to give them an opportunity to express themselves and to give us some details about how they have been feeling during the sessions, but also before and after the sessions. So we are compiling all this information from students in order to write maybe next month, or just 2-3 months afterwards, to write the final paper. And then the idea is to write the paper, not only me, but also all of them. So and not all of them are willing to write in this academic level. Normally only 10-15% of them, they are willing to stay with me, and then to write, and then to revise again, and then. But it's very interesting, because at the end of the day, you are writing something with them, and they are really protagonists of this research work.
I don't want to occupy all the questions, but if there isn't another question from out there, I have one last question, which is, to what extent can you measure the impact this has for tourism, right? Because what would be really nice is to know what effect this has on the tourist industry, or in the tourist.
Yes, this is really difficult to measure. Because if I remember very well, going 2 years ago to one of the radio here, which is called Cadena Ser, which is the radio that has the biggest audience here. And at the end, I remember at the end of the program, I asked to the presenter, and then I said, "Okay, can you tell me how many people have been listening this program?" And she told me that it was around 80,000 people have been listening to different message about going to Italy, a specific territory in Italy, and also about going to specific territory in Portugal. And then this is true that around 80,000 people have been listening to, but you never know how many of them, okay, in summer or in April, autumn, they are willing to go to these places. This is really difficult to measure this point. Okay?
Yes, I know we've also done studies on media impact, and they will tell you, yes, thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah,
but I tend to think that this is about building up a longer term strategy, because these students have become aware of the whole question. Maybe some of them will go on to work in that sector. Others, maybe they will always carry with them this thing that they've learned about how to promote their region. And then the people who hear it also, they may go there in 3 years when they have their next holiday, right? I mean, we don't, it's very difficult to measure, but I think it's a fantastic project. Ana Maria, do you have any more questions?
Any more questions? No. And I think Rafael has other commitments and has to leave early.
Right. Well, I have one thing to say, which is to thank Ana Maria so much for presenting the session, and to thank Rafael for a really, really interesting talk. I think this is something that we could try to look at on a larger scale, and maybe in some other form of bigger participation. We all have a lot of Erasmus students. It's always seemed to me that we don't really take much advantage of them. You know, we don't, I mean, that sounds bad maybe, but we don't get enough out of the Erasmus exchange. They appear, they disappear, and we don't really, as institutions or as countries, benefit so much from that. So I think your proposal is very imaginative, and it's a way also to solve the other problem, which is that the local students don't speak to the Erasmus students, and so everything has to be somehow more integrated, and all in the interests of European integration in general. I would just like to say that we don't have a talk next week, but our next seminar will be on the 8th of March, and it's about the innovative scheme for adopting olive trees, which has been set up very successfully in another part of Spain. So I'd like to welcome all of you again on the 8th of March at 12 o'clock, looking at the scheme for adopting olive trees as a way of opening up the rural economy. So thank you all so much.
Okay, thank you.
It's been a great morning, and we'll see each other again soon.